Namaskar. Hello everyone. A very warm welcome to my channel. I'm Arvedi and we are in the second video of my playlist Programming in C Sharp. In the first video we have done the basics of .NET framework. In this video we'll be looking at specifically the data types provided by C Sharp. Okay. I assume that we already are well versed with the basic data types provided by any programming languages. If not, still maybe you'll be able to get it. But it is good to see programming languages like C programming for understanding the fundamentals, and then maybe you'll be able to correlate that with the concepts of C Sharp. So you can see very well the playlist which I have programming in C, and you've got all the detailed videos on various fundamentals of C programming. Let's go ahead with the current video, that is data types of C Sharp. So C Sharp mainly divides data types into three categories. So we'll have value type, reference type, and pointer type. Now let us look at each one of them in detail. So what is value type? As you can clearly see, it directly stores the variable's value in memory. So value type is very simple. Whenever you create variable of value type, memory will be allocated directly, and we're capable of storing the value inside that particular memory. It accepts both signed and unsigned literals. So it can store signed, that is negative positive, or unsigned, that is without any particular sign. So both types of literals can be accepted. Now, as you know that C Sharp revolves around object-oriented programming style, so all the data types are also derived from some sort of inbuilt class. So these value types are derived from a class called system.valueType. It uses a stack memory to store the value. Okay. If you're not clear about this, obviously I'll explain a bit more that two types of memory generally are being used for allocation of memory, that is stack memory, and we have heap memory. So these value types are generally directly stored in a stack memory. So whenever you create, we get memory in stack memory, and value also will be stored there itself. Now I'm stressing upon all these things, but you'll understand this better when you're going to look at reference type, and then you'll be able to compare value type and reference type to understand it better. Let's go ahead first and see more about value type. So these are the value types of data types. Integral types has got sbyte, short, int, long, byte, ushort, uint, ulong. To be very precise, the distinct one are short, or to start with byte, which is the smallest one. Then we have short, we have int, we have long. Okay. If you see byte, by default is unsigned. So if you want signed byte, we have to say sbyte. But all the other types, that is short, int, long, are by default signed. So if you want to say unsigned, you have to put ushort, uint, ulong. Okay. A very clear and a simple way of memory allocation. Byte obviously will give you 1 byte of memory. Short gives you 2 bytes. Int will be 4 bytes, and long would be 8 bytes. So if at all you are like really good or well versed in Java, you might be knowing that this is the same style of memory allocation provided by Java as well. So let's see other types of value data types. We have floating point types: float, double, and decimal. Okay, float is 4 bytes, double is 8 bytes, and decimal is 16 bytes. So it's a huge data type which is exclusively provided by C Sharp. It was not there in any of the other languages before C Sharp that you have seen. Okay, so that's about floating type. In character type, we have char, which also uses Unicode, so it will take 2 bytes, and a quite similar manner it will be able to store the characters. We have boolean type, that is bull. In Java it was boolean, here it is being named as bull. So it will take 1 byte of memory, but actually it uses only 1 bit of it to store either true or false. Okay, so that's about the value types of data types. Now let us move on to reference type. Now basic difference is what? See, value type, I directly get the memory and I store value in that memory itself, which happens in stack memory. But in reference type, it will contain a memory address of a variable value. So now you're going to understand one thing, that value is somewhere else and reference type is going to store the address of that value. Okay, so if you try to visualize, value will still be in stack memory, but these reference types, they get memory in a heap memory. So you'll have a heap memory storing a reference which will be storing address to the actual value, and that is stored in stack memory. Okay, so just to revise, it will contain a memory address of a variable value, that is reference type. It will not store the variable's value directly in memory. No. So in a heap memory, if you see a reference, I have a reference, let's say X. So X is not going to store a value. It is going to store an address of a memory location, and typically from a stack memory where the value is actually stored. I hope it is clear. Or else maybe in the further references will be many times you're going to have a difference between heap memory, stack memory, and value type and reference type. So things would get more and more clear that time. Now built-in references types are as follows. You have string, which is a type name which is system.string. We can also call it as a simple string. It's a reference type. So when we create a string, we are creating a reference which is capable of referring or storing an address of an actual object. And the next is object. All types inherit from object. Type name is system.object. Again, quite correlation with Java. In Java also we had superclass of all the classes as object. Similarly here also we have that concept. So all types are inheriting from object. We have boxing and unboxing operations. So you know what is that? Boxing is nothing but converting a value type into a object type. Its boxing is like to box it. So if at all I have a value type, I box it and I create an object from it, that is called boxing process. If I take the value back from the object, so converting value from an object, it's unboxing. So that's boxing and unboxing operations. Pointer type. So we have done 2 out of the 3, that is value type and reference type. The third one is pointer type. You remember pointer type, it was there in C, C++. Java had not given pointer type. Now C# is almost like Java, as I said. So it does mention that there is a concept of pointer type, but it does not provide them in a very open manner. So let's see what is it. Now pointer type will also contain the address of the variable's value. So quite similar to reference, but there is a difference. I cannot refer directly to a variable. In case of a reference, you have to have a kind of a object style being created, and the reference would refer to that particular object. Whereas in pointer type, you are supposed to, or you are capable of pointing to a particular variable also. You know, pointers need to use the address operator, address, which you will never find in the reference. I am not going to generate address of a variable myself and going to store it. Okay. And to derefer, so your address operator is also called as reference operator. To derefer, we have an indirection operator, which is asterisk. So this concept is again completely derived from C, C++ as it is. But see the last line. The code using pointers must be declared in unsafe block. So if at all I'm using pointers, we obviously should try avoiding this particular concept. But if at all we do that, the complete code has to be kept in an unsafe block, because C# treats pointers obviously to be unsafe concept. Okay, so that's the reason it is just for the namesake, it is there, but it is not generally being used. So broadly we can say our data types are divided into 2, that is value type and reference type. Fine, so that was it about the different types of data types which we have in C# and which are being provided by C#. Okay, so we'll go further and we'll have more fundamentals, more concepts before we start with the actual program. I hope you've understood the concepts in this video about the different types of data types. You can very well put your comments in the comment section. You can tell me how exactly you find the new playlist C#. Okay, and we'll obviously go ahead with more videos to make you more comfortable in programming in C#. So that's it for the current video. Thank you and a very happy learning.